Man, pretty brutal news in the NBA world today. Cade Cunningham has been diagnosed with a collapsed lung and expected to miss an extended period of time. I think they said at least, 2 weeks. Cade's been one of the top 5, 10 players in basketball this year. Probably would have been all NBA first teams, averaging 24, 5, 10 on the number one seeded Pistons team that have 14 games remaining. He's played 60 possible games, so this knocks him out of, what's it called? Any voting for MVP, All NBA, because you need to reach these 65 games now. It's pretty brutal for Cade, and it sucks. But at least on the last go around for All NBA, he was able to make it and was able to get that super max contract. So at least there's that for Cade Cunningham. But yeah, like this rule obviously was initially made because you don't want players like Kawhi Leonard in particular, but I guess to an extent, Joel Embiid just not playing games, load managing, and things like that, and still getting all these accolades and all this, just everything that comes with it. And this is a pretty brutal part of that rule because now Cade Cunningham, after having such a great season and leading his team to the first seed, will not be making an All NBA team because of a collapsed lung, unfortunately. Pretty brutal. I think SGA and Jokic can only miss a minimal amount of games as well, and they will be off of MVP and All NBA voting, which is also very, very brutal. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, the rule is the rule. And yeah, you can miss 17 games in the season and win MVP. But aside of that, it's not the case. So, Cade Cunningham overall. Let's talk about it for the Detroit Pistons. So, again, they have 14 games remaining. They are currently the number one seed in the Eastern Conference by 3.5 games over the Celtics, who just got Tatum back. They have Brown. Wow. That's just gut-wrenching because the Pistons team, not that I dislike them, but I wasn't high on them coming into the season. I still don't think they're going to be coming out the Eastern Conference like that. I'm still higher, I would say, on the Celtics. I don't think I could say I'm higher on the Knicks in a matchup against them in particular, but if against anybody else, maybe. Just one of those two. If it was Boston and New York going at, okay, maybe. But in a series, I can't because of how dominant the Pistons have looked this season against the Pistons. Have they looked against the season against the Knicks? I can't say in a matchup of Knicks and Pistons in the play, especially when defense matters most. I can't say, oh, give me the Knicks over the Pistons, even though I do like their ceiling higher because I like them more offensively. But again, defense wins championships. But now the Pistons are without their point guard, and Cade Cunningham hopefully is good to go for the playoffs. Again, they have 14 games remaining. Again, a team that I wasn't incredibly high on just because of offensively. It's a lot to be desired off of Cade Cunningham because they don't really have a... It's interesting to say because how great of a season Jalen Duren's having. But imagine Jalen Duren as like a third option. I think what Jalen Duren really liked is even without Cade Cunningham, he's had some really good games. So that's something to look forward to. But again, the shooting concerns, if you had Jalen Duren as your third option, that would be chef's kiss. Like imagine this team with a score alongside Cade averaging like what I just mentioned, like 25. Imagine, dude, somebody averaging like 23, 24 alongside that as well. Like, I'm thinking of like Zach LaVine, but his contract is bad, and he really has not been having that good of a season. Like imagine like a Tyler Hero alongside him as well. Like you take a defensive hit, but dude, like just to make Duren, it's like as a Heat fan, like it's the same situation we're in. Not we don't have a Cade anything like that, but as a like third, second option, Bam Adebayo, in my opinion, I like him a lot more as a third option than the second option. It's just taking a lot more off the plate from because what he does so much defensively. Now with Jalen Duren, obviously not the defender Bam Adebayo is, but he's still one of the league's best premier rebounders overall, and he's not a half bad shot blocker as well. So that's my only concern with the Pistons because we're looking at the first option right now being Jalen Duren, and then outside of that, it's rest of the lineup fiddles out as Dennis Jenkins at point guard, Duncan Robinson, Heat legend at shooting guard, Asar Thompson at small forward, Tobias Harris at power forward, and Duren. Backups, looking at Sasser, Levert, Javante Green, Ron Holland, Beef Stew, then Kevin Herter, and B-Ball Paul. So it's like, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough. A team that wasn't an incredibly deep team, losing their best player, obviously. It's absolutely brutal with 14 games remaining. Just absolutely gutted for Pistons fans. It's a sad part of sports, man. There's injuries out of the blue, especially a collapsed lung. The last person that had a collapsed lung was CJ McCollum, and he ended up coming back sometime in the season. So hopefully Cade Cunningham is good to go. But yeah, it's not bad thing about these 65 game rules. But again, I'm not a hater of the 65 game rules because it started next year because of low management. It become freak injuries. But yeah, if you miss like 17 games, let's see, it's just tough because an inferior guy's gonna get in over these guys that aren't able to touch 65 games this season, which sucks for the players. But unfortunately, the rule is the rule. And another weird thing about this, I don't want players rushing back just to reach that 65 game threshold as well. So that's also one of the things to talk about. But I don't know, like maybe make it like 60 games. You can miss 22. I don't know. That's like a fourth of the season pretty much gone. Is like it's a lot of leeway. But again, some of these freak injuries, like because then you're like, oh, what's really an injury? I gotta bring the NBA doctors, like they said initially about the Utah Jazz and like marketing, but they didn't end up doing it. And it's like, like what teams are actually just actively not playing players and what teams actively, physically can't play these players because they literally cannot get up and play in an NBA game. So it's all just pretty brutal at the end of the day. But let's see if the Pistons can hold on to the first seed in the Eastern Conference without Cade Cunningham, unfortunately, out. A decent chance of it being for the remainder of the regular season. Hopefully, again, he's good to go for the playoffs. But the remaining schedule is Washington. They should be able to beat them. Warriors, I mean, they have no Curry, no Jimmy, obviously. See what happens with that. Lakers game's probably going to lose in that game. Hawks game, they've been on fire, but all due to the Hawks. Literally, I think the only like true like playoff team they've beaten in that has been the Orlando Magic. Outside of that, it's the Nets multiple times, the Wizards multiple times. Got the Blazers. They're a solid playing team. But I believe they had no Denny that game. The Bucks multiple times. One of them was out without Giannis. Yeah. They faced the Lakers and they faced the Hawks. They faced the Pelicans. Should be able to beat them. And the Pelicans are pretty underrated. I never give up on them. With DeJounte Murray, they've been looking pretty good, man. They've been looking pretty good. Timberwolves should lose that game. OKC, they should lose that game. Toronto's been hot and cold, but probably lose that game. Minnesota again, probably lose that game. Philadelphia, I mean, maybe even Embiid's back. I don't know. Maxey, I don't know. PG's out for what? When is Paul George expected to be back? Like I don't know. Magic probably lose that. Depending. Magic obviously is stinky and Paolo's a wild card. Franzi back by April 6th. I don't know. Wait, hold on. I don't know. It seems like maybe nearing return. I don't know though. I do not know. All right, so back to the schedule. Left in Orlando, Milwaukee, Giannis. They're trying to send him down for the rest of the season. Let's see what happens with all of that. Charlotte, they've been on fire. Very sneaky team. Just blew up my team like 30 points, no bam, so it really doesn't count. Joking by the way, but Ferris. And the Pacers are basically actively tanking to secure their top 5 pick before it falls out of that range. No. Yeah, just what was it again? Pacers first round pick to Clippers for Zubac. I forgot what it was. It was protected. It was a it was a trade for Mathurin. It was protected 1 through 4. So if the Pacers pick is 5 through 10, is 5 through 9, and 10 through 30, it heads to the Clippers. If it's 1 through 4 and 5 through 9, it heads to It heads to the Indiana Pacers. So they have to get a top 4 seed, obviously. Try to really lose some of these games, and hopefully for them the lottery balls fall in their favor and they can secure a top 4 pick, a fully healthy Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, maybe rejuvenated Jarris Walker, Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, and go right back to being one of the league's best teams, especially in the Eastern Conference. So let's see how that all transpired. Cade Cunningham, praise for you. Hopefully he come back from this collapsed lung. Hopefully he doesn't rush himself back. Take as much time as he needs. It's good to go for the playoffs, and to bring Detroit basketball a good playoff run, even though, again, I'm not incredibly high in this team. Obviously not going to be rooting against anything like that, but I just really want to see this run and see how the Pistons look without Cade. Obviously, we know he's up there for MVP. We're really going to see how much Cade Cunningham means to this team as an MVP candidate. People didn't think so already, because this team, man, Jesus Christ. Like, it's a lot of Cade doing a lot of dirty work for this team and doing a lot of the, really propping this team up because, geez, shooting concerns, offensive concerns. Cade Cunningham is really like 30 and 10 every game, especially really good really good opponent. So let's see how this all transpires. But prayers up to that boy, Cade Cunningham.